Hey everyone, Dr. John Acker back with you. This is video 2 on how to use Peerwith, and in this one I want to look more at the expert side dashboard and some of the tools available to you here as an editor. Also talk about how you actually get paid through Peerwith. I left off last time on this screen. This is the main dashboard, and this defaults to open requests. This is stuff that's in progress that is not yet, either the clients have not yet responded or the transaction has not yet been closed off. The administrator of the site does a good job of keeping on top of open requests and will update you and close the transaction out after a certain amount of time of no response, or if the client goes with someone else or just deletes the request. Now, right now, I just have these two bids. I don't believe that clients have responded to either one yet. This one was 4 weeks ago, so that's probably a ghost. This one, client might respond yet. Let me show you how it looks when we actually have a conversation and connect to do a job. So to do that, I'm going to go into the archive section here. And this is a mix of stuff that's been closed off for one reason or another. Closed, I believe here means that no one responded to this, or it didn't result in a job. Completed, which I'll get to in a minute, is a project that has been done, and then other just means that the client picked someone else. This is useful data for you because you can see what sort of budgets and what sort of bids got different results. But let's go to the one that I've actually gone through recently. And because Google is always fun, it's going to interrupt me and make me log in again. All right, so we see this is a completed request. I'm going to start down at the bottom at our first conversation. In this case, the client went through Emerald Group Publishing, which is one of Peerwith's partners. They also partner with Brill. And she had a fairly detailed account of what she wanted to fix. And we went back and forth with a few of these. I made my standard bid, and once she sent me the document here, as well as the manuscript requirements, I put in my official bid. This was after I had a chance to look over what kind of work the document needed. Sometimes I get stuff that's fairly clean, they just need a proofread. Sometimes I get stuff that really needs a developmental edit, so I adjust my rates accordingly. And in this message, I just state the total rate. I specify here that it includes Peerwith's commission. Commission varies usually between about 10 and 20%, depending on the size of the job, whether it was a direct request or a classified ad, and a couple other factors. But it's typically a baseline of $20 a transaction. So I build that into my rates. And I put it here mostly for my reference, so I have that for my internal bookkeeping. Once she accepted the bid, then it shows up here. And then a couple important things to note here. One, Peerwith prefers that clients pay by PayPal. Some countries, though, do not allow PayPal. In this case, the client is in Turkey, and she couldn't use that. So she used a bank transfer or maybe Western Union. I forget how this one exactly turned out. At the other end, Peerwith pays me through PayPal as well. So you need to have that account set up. Once we get all this done, go away, random Facebook notification, then Peerwith confirms the payment, so it's kind of an escrow at that point. The client is very motivated to continue with the process because she's already put the money in, and I'm very motivated to continue with the process because I haven't gotten the money yet. So, of course, I do the edits, send that to her as well as a copy of the invoice. This is my invoice, so she can have that for her records. And at that point, I leave the client a rating. It's just a thumbs up, thumbs down. In this case, we went back and forth a couple times to answer questions, and at the end, she was highly satisfied, so she gave me 5 stars. So this was a successful interaction. Occasionally, clients will have more questions. I haven't really run into any major problems, but I know we all have stories of clients that just could not be satisfied with anything, so this is not exempt from that. Once you have a document done and it's processed the payment, then it goes into transactions. And this is very useful for tax purposes, which is the thing I'm doing this weekend, because I get links to all of the invoices, which are also emailed to me with dates when it was done, so I can verify that against my records. And this helps a lot, just keep track of how well I'm doing. It also gives you a sense of the typical service fees for each of these. They're not precisely consistent, but I think I average somewhere around 12 or 13% commission, which I think is reasonable given that I don't pay for an individual contact or to make the bid. There's also a list here of previous clients. This is honestly not terribly helpful because you can't contact the clients directly, but it might help if you need to remember a name or something, or get a sense of who you have worked with there. And you can see this is based on what they put in. So sometimes they just use a first name, or some actually use a pseudonym. This was through an organization. This one is in kanji, so I can't actually read it. But that's generally how it's set up. Payments go out roughly weekly. Sometimes they get delayed a little bit, but I've never had to wait more than 2 or 3 weeks for a payment, so that's a really big improvement over some of the monthly payment options. Overall, I think Peerwith is worth your time. It is focused right now on academic editing, so if you're a fiction editor, not a good place, but it's a good way to get experience and to work specifically with clients without having to commit to a certain number of words edited or having to worry about the race to the bottom that we see on sites like Upwork or Freelancer or Fiverr. Give it a look. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at john@acroedit.com. Have a good day.